All right, so for today's deep dive, we're stepping away from the usual. We're opening the door to this just sprawling generational mystery.
Exactly. We're looking at two manuscripts today, The Unremembered Guest and its sequel, The Unnamed Letter.
And this isn't just your standard whodunit.
Not at all. This is really about how family secrets, how they fester, how they can poison everything for decades, and how a truth you think is settled can be just completely upended.
So our mission today is to unpack the two very different truths about a murder that happened back in 1951.
The murder of a young woman named Rose Hartley.
Okay, let's set the stage. The story kicks off in October 1975. You have to picture this crumbling English manor, the Arden place.
And inside is the matriarch, Viola Arden. She's 73, she's dying, but her mind is crystal clear.
And she's completely obsessed with something that happened 24 years ago, the death of her young companion, Rose.
So she hatches this incredible, sort of desperate plan, a gambit, really. She summons 5 people to the house.
Not just any 5 people.
No. These are the adult children of everyone who was there the night Rose died. And she sits them down and accuses one of their parents of murder.
And the prize for finding the truth.
Her entire estate. She tells them, I will have the truth before I die. It's manipulative, but it's brilliant.
She's leveraging their own inherited guilt to get answers.
Exactly.
And right from the start, she just dismisses the official story. Officially, Rose Hartley, who was only 23, fell down the East Wing stairs. An accident.
But Viola never bought it. Not for a second. Rose was young, she was athletic, the stairs weren't even that steep.
And the biggest thing for her was, nobody heard anything. 3 in the morning, a fatal fall, and not a single cry. It just didn't add up.
So these 5 inheritors, they're trapped. They're forced to become detectives and dig into their own parents' pasts. Right. We've got Jeffrey Crane, Dora Clement, who is actually a private investigator herself, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Then there's Peter Arden, the nephew, Helena Shaw, and the solicitor, Dennis Warwick, who's just trying to keep it all together.
So they head to the library to start digging. And the first thing they find, it basically confirms all of Viola's suspicions.
It's Rose's diary. And the final entry, it is the definition of a smoking gun.
What does it say?
She wrote, I have seen something I was not meant to see. I have heard something I was not meant to hear. And then, tonight, I am locking my door.
Wow. Okay, so that is not a woman who's about to have an accident.
Not at all. She knows she's in danger. She knows she's a target.
And the diary doesn't just stop there, right? It actually points fingers. It gives them a list of suspects.
It does. It mentions that Dora's father, Robert Clement, was pursuing her very aggressively. So that's one possible motive.
A crime of passion or panic.
Right. And it also details these huge arguments about money.
Yeah.
Between Jeffrey's father, Henry Crane, and Peter's father, Thomas Arden, who was Viola's own brother. So you've got motives popping up everywhere.
And then they find the money trail. What was it called? The guilt money.
Yeah, Henry Crane's letters. After 1951, he started sending Viola regular, large sums of money. And in his letters, he calls it guilt money for a debt that can never be repaid.
So he's basically admitting complicity. He might not be the killer, but he was absolutely involved in the cover-up.
100%. It proves there was a conspiracy. But the central piece of the puzzle is still missing, the actual killer.
Until Peter Arden, the nephew, comes forward with this bombshell, a deathbed letter from his father, Thomas.
And in the letter, Thomas confesses. He admits he saw 2 figures at the foot of the stairs just after Rose died.
2 figures?
Yes, and he admits he helped cover up the murder to protect someone. But the page that names the killer?
It's gone.
Torn out, violently ripped out, so now they know. They're looking for a killer and at least 2 accomplices.
And right around this point, they uncover something that honestly should have been the biggest clue of all, the insurance policies.
This is such a crucial detail. In September of '51, just before Rose died, Viola took out 2 life insurance policies.
One was small, on Rose's life, with the money meant to go to Rose's sister, a kind gesture.
Right, but the other one was massive, a huge policy on Viola's own life.
And the beneficiary.
Her brother, Thomas Arden.
The man who was set to inherit a fortune if his sister died suddenly. That changes the motive completely, doesn't it?
It should have. It shifts it from a panicked cover-up of an affair to a cold, premeditated plot to kill Viola for her money. Rose's death starts to look like collateral damage, someone getting in the way of a much bigger plan.
But before they can really process that, the tension around the torn page from the letter it breaks.
It does. Helena Shaw confesses. She admits that she was the one who tore the name out of Thomas's letter.
And why? Who was she protecting?
Her mother, Margaret Shaw.
So this leads them to the first conclusion, the truth, as they understood it in 1975.
Exactly. The theory they land on is that Margaret Shaw was an impulsive, volatile killer. Rose had found out about her affair with Thomas Arden.
But it was more than that, right?
It was. Rose had also apparently found letters suggesting Margaret was involved in the, let's say, convenient death of her first husband.
So Margaret killed Rose in a panic to keep her past buried and secure her future with Thomas.
That's the 1975 version of the truth. Margaret is the killer. And her lover Thomas, along with Henry Crane, are the ones who staged the scene to look like an accident. They were the cover-up artists.
And Viola. She accepts this. It's a horrible truth for her, knowing her own brother was involved, but she accepts it.
She does. She dies a few weeks later, and the case is, for all intents and purposes, closed. The estate is divided. The secret is out.
Or so they thought.
Or so they thought. Because that's where the story sits for 50 years. Just simmering.
Which brings us to the sequel, The Unnamed Letter. We jump forward 5 decades to about 2025, and Dora Clement's the private investigator. She's now an old woman.
And the closure she thought she had is about to be completely destroyed.
And it happens by pure chance.
Total chance. A man named Michael Reeve, who's the great-nephew of the old house manager, is on a construction crew demolishing the old Shaw house.
Margaret Shaw's house.
The very same. And as they're tearing down a wall, he finds a hidden metal box.
And what's inside the box just rewrites history.
Completely. It's a stack of letters. Correspondence between Margaret Shaw and Eleanor Clement.
Dora's mother. The quiet one. The one everyone saw as this grief-stricken widow.
The very same. And the letters date back to 1948, 3 years before Rose was murdered.
This is the big twist, the inversion.
It's the master inversion.
Yeah.
Everything they concluded in 1975 was wrong, or at least incomplete. Eleanor Clement wasn't a bystander. She was the architect, the mastermind of the entire conspiracy.
And Margaret Shaw.
Margaret was just her impulsive, messy partner. The real plot, the one that started in 1948, wasn't about an affair.
It was about the insurance policy.
It was always about the insurance policy. The plan was to kill Viola for the inheritance, which would go to Thomas, who was Margaret's lover. Eleanor was the strategist behind it all.
So Rose's death.
Rose's death was an emergency measure. She must have stumbled onto their long-term plan to murder Viola, and they had to silence her. She wasn't the target. She was an obstacle.
And the letters confirm all this. Eleanor's role.
Oh, in chilling detail. They show how cold and calculated she was. She was apparently furious that Margaret's impulsive murder of Rose ruined their careful plan to kill Viola subtly, over time. It brought police and scrutiny they never wanted.
So when Thomas Arden's letter said he saw 2 figures at the stairs.
One of them was Eleanor. The letters describe her kneeling by the body, directing the cover-up, telling Thomas and Margaret exactly what to do to stage the scene. She was the shadow director.
This must be just devastating for Dora.
Unimaginable. Her whole life, her entire career was built on the story of her father, Robert, killing himself out of guilt in 1953. She defined herself by his weakness and her mother's supposed grief.
But the letters suggest something else entirely.
They do. They show Eleanor saw her husband, Robert, as a liability. He had a conscience. He was a weak link who might confess. She even hints at taking other measures to silence him right before he died.
So the implication is that Eleanor didn't just mastermind Rose's cover-up. She might have.
She might have murdered her own husband to protect the secret.
Dora realizes she spent 50 years solving the wrong mystery.
Exactly. Her entire understanding of her family, of herself.
Yeah.
It was all built on a lie orchestrated by her mother, the person she trusted most.
And there's one last piece of evidence in that box, isn't there? A photograph.
Yes, a small secret photo taken by the housekeeper, Mary Rourke. She was one of the invisible people in the house who saw everything.
What does it show?
It shows Margaret Shaw and Eleanor Clement together, just 2 days before Rose was killed. And on the back, Mary had written, "Mrs. Shaw and Mrs. Clement, they did not know I was watching." It's proof that the staff knew. They always knew something was wrong.
So now Dora, the inheritor of this final awful truth, has a choice to make.
She chooses truth over family loyalty. She decides to publish all the letters, everything, before she dies. It's an act that she knows will completely destroy her mother's memory.
But it's for Rose.
It's for Rose Hartley. To finally give her the whole truth. To acknowledge she was a victim of something so much bigger and colder than a moment of panic.
And there's that beautiful final image. Michael Reeve, the man who found the box.
Yeah. He plants a rose cutting at the site where the house used to be. A cutting from a rose that originally came from the Arden place, passed down from the housekeeper, Mary. The house is gone. The people are gone. But the story.
The story survives, rooted in the truth.
It really shows that the question isn't just who done it. The first investigation answered that incorrectly. The second one corrected it. The deeper question is, what do you do with the knowledge of what was done?
That's the burden the inheritors carry. Dora's final act. Choosing to reveal a truth that invalidates her own life's narrative, all for the sake of a victim she never knew. It's incredibly powerful.
It is. And it leaves you thinking. When you uncover a secret, a real one, something that changes the story you've always been told, what's your responsibility to it? And what price are you personally willing to pay to make sure the complete truth is remembered?